Hello, and welcome to the Salted Coffee Podcast.
The new Salted Coffee.
The new Salted Coffee Podcast. We are officially rebooting this shit.
Well,
It's an exciting little adventure we're going on right now. Right?
yeah, so me and Devon
Kind
are
of.
going to give this a shot. We're going to see how the two of us can do. Because, we're not going to... We'll talk about it a little bit later.
It's
But
kind of a two-man
It's
show.
kind of a two-man show for a little while. It's not completely a two-man show. Brian's not completely gone. But it's going to be a two-man show for about... I'm going to go with... I'm being optimistic here, saying about 60% of the time.
He's pretty much gone all the time, let's be real.
Yeah, let's put him on here.
He has a life.
Month, he'll probably be on one episode.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Happy wife, happy life.
That's how it goes.
I don't know. I mean, I introduced the two of them, so I'm not going to say anything. I mean, I don't think it's completely that. I would never say that.
I think the worst...
I love Margaret. Margaret, I'll call her Margaret.
I love Margaret,
because
too.
she hates it. I'll call her Margaret. Like
all
a
the more
sister.
reason to keep saying.
Oh no, that's why I do it. You know the way I am. I'm a dick.
Who isn't these days?
Vaginas.
Yeah, you totally fucked me on that one, yeah.
Fucking ain't right.
Yeah.
And Brian classed up the joint. So I hate to tell you guys, we're
Feeling a little left behind,
we're a little
perhaps.
left behind, and we're two working class schmoes, and we're not nearly as refined as he is, and it's not that Brian's refined. I guess it's Brian is kind of learned to filter compared to us.
Or he has outgrown us because we're
Shut the fuck
pieces
up, Devon.
of shit.
Shut the fuck up, Devon. That's not the truth. That's not the case. It's not the case. All right, I can't accept that right now. All right, just give me a break here.
Perception is reality.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get this motherfucker started.
Yes. So, what's Salted Coffee Podcast? Glad you asked. We are a variety weekly podcast. We talk about random shit. By the way, we are normally three guys from New Jersey. We happen to be two guys this time.
This time it is.
Part of the changes.
One of which is wearing a Devils jersey, and one of which is wearing a sweatshirt from a National Guard unit from New Jersey.
We are
So very New Jersey.
We are very big Devils fans, as you
Very
guys
big.
heard from last week's episode. As we tried to watch the game live while we recorded, it did not go well. We got
wasn't that bad.
very excited, and they did win.
They did
that was
win.
that was
Devils
the
been doing pretty good this year. So
4-3 Arizona game, right? If I
yeah, it
remember
was.
correct. Yeah.
You know what? I'll give Arizona that they were desperate, so they were doing good.
Oh, dude, they were so bad. They were like 1-8 or something ridiculous.
No, they hadn't won a game yet.
They had no wins at that.
Yeah. We are going to have a this is, I guess we call it 20 and a half. 20.5. So
This is episode 20.5
So-
for anyone who's asking, like, what the fuck is going
so
on right now.
between 22 and 25, I'd like to think we're going to have a hockey episode where we'll talk about the Devils specifically,
There's going to be a lot of hockey going on.
but we'll talk about hockey in general. Devon's brother Shane is a big hockey fan. My buddy Tim is
Yep.
a hockey fan. We went to high school with him, so we've all known Tim for probably the better part of 15 years. So we'll all talk about that, but that's not for this time. What is kind of prevalent to what's going on right now is Veterans Day.
Yeah.
So we can get into that.
Hold on a second. Before we get into topic number one of the night, can we please do a beer blitz?
Yeah,
'Cause
we can
this
do a
is-
beer blitz. And
this-
we're gonna do the most working class beer blitz ever.
Yes. This is very much if you guys are not South Park fans, there is an episode about PBR, because that's what we're drinking tonight, Pabst Blue Ribbon. I'm white trash and I'm in trouble. If you guys, I'm sure many of you guys out there are familiar with this episode, but it's one of my favorites, especially because, let's be real, I'm white trash and I'm always in trouble. I love to drink. I've got 3
I'm probably
PBRs ready to roll in my Devil's souvenir cup.
I'm probably white trash, but I don't want to admit it.
Yes. No, I mean, let's be honest. Nobody wants to admit it, but you have to. You just have to give in to the goodness that is the drinking and the beer and the Pabst. You know what I'm saying. So for this week's segment, of Beer Blitz, we're going to roll with PBR. I apologize because I know that it's not a
Fancy,
high class like
beer.
And we like to
3
try
snaps in a Z formation.
we very much like to try new things on the show. And this is not a new thing for any of us. This is just more of a place and a time thing as we want to get fucked up.
It's
and the shit is cheap.
It's kind of more of a joke than anything else. And
it's a joke, but a joke that everyone enjoys who likes beer.
Speaking of which,
there.
we're all kind of jokingly talking about doing stand-up comedy, but we'll get it back into that.
Oh, it's gonna roll back around.
It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen one of these days, and we're gonna make fun. We're gonna make Brian come. We're gonna make fun of him.
We are, because it's impossible not to. So cheers to PBR. Clink in those glasses.
Cheers,
straight
right?
in the microphone. Yeah. Clink one more time. Yeah.
Oh, the computer. That's not too much.
I think we'll survive. As I
wipe it up with the Devil's jersey.
I'm gonna wipe my Jaromir Jagr Devil's jersey across the keyboard.
I still think the Devils should have kept him.
I'm sorry, Brian. I just ruined your keyboard.
It doesn't matter. Brian gave me the computer.
We're half kidding. It's not really that bad.
No, we're not sorry. Because you totally won't be sorry either.
All right. You're probably right.
Yeah. No. PBR is PBR. It is beer, and
it is beer.
And because it is beer and it gets the job done and it's cheap, it still gets to me 3 cups. It's actually not bad beer. I don't think it's horrible at all.
I'm gonna go just scotch above and go 3.5 cups of coffee.
Honestly, it's not that bad of a beer.
It like you said,
how fucked up it gets you and how cheap it is.
It absolutely gets the job done. It's cheap. It's available, readily available.
That's true.
And I've never met anyone who is not a fan of this beer. It's one of those rare beers. No, I know what you're saying.
I gotta bring Rolling Rock on the
sure.
next one because I actually am a big fan of Rolling Rock. Believe it or not,
I love Rolling Rock.
I like Rolling Rock. It's
good. The knight chess piece logo, the green bottle, like
Rolling Rock.
It is such. This is a serious question. Were they trying to mimic a Trojan horse when they made the logo?
No, I think it had something to do with horse racing.
Okay, I wasn't sure
if
it was
30s that it came out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
That's a Pennsylvania thing. And when I actually know I have a Pennsylvania beer that I'm going to bring out when we do.
Is it Yingling?
No, it's not Yingling.
Okay, good. Because you can skip the Yingling.
No,
everybody knows.
Skip Yingling. Everyone knows Yingling. Yingling's good. Yingling's a good solid 4 cups.
Mm-hmm.
Always will be. When I bring my buddy Jake out here, probably in December, when we'll have Salt Coffee Day at the range, and Brian will probably be with us.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll try to have a seance and resurrect Justin too. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure he has passed on into the 4th or 5th dimension.
I can contact the Elder Scrolls and whatever. I don't fucking
the Elder Scrolls?
Shut the fuck
Skyrim?
Up. I'm trying. Yeah, Skyrim. I'll go to Skyrim and I'll try to
arrow
to
the knee, motherfucker.
Yeah, but we'll see what we can do. We're gonna have a salted coffee day at the range because
we are.
Brian will most likely join us, but my friend Jake will definitely join us, and we'll have at least a 3-person show at that point. We'll make a video.
Yeah.
And we'll continue on from there. It'll be cold as fuck because it's December, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm pretty good at beer blitz now with a 3 and a 3 point. So it's a solid 3.25.
3.25.
3.25. I think it's a pretty solid marking because
I'm
not that bad of a beer. It's really not that bad for how cheap it is. I've had really bad cheap beers, and PBR is on the level of cheap beer. It's probably the top of the line.
Really? You think so?
Second to top.
In terms of quality of cheap beers?
Quality. It's not that bad. Well, Natty Ice will get you fucked up. Natty Ice will fuck you up.
Right, but obviously
you will suffer that hangover for about 2 days.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be out of commission for 48 hours. That's just not a good look for anybody.
PBR won't do that to you, and neither will, like I said, Rolling Rock. But we'll do a Rolling Rock one, even though we've all had Rolling Rock.
Everybody's had Rolling Rock.
I have an obsession with Rolling Rock.
It's the classic pale ale.
It is.
It's really good.
Anyway, so do you want to roll into the topic?
So, Yeah, so
So my topic is because it's advantageous to the calendar.
it is absolutely and
Is
perfectly appropriate
yeah, it
because
is.
today
Is Veterans
it's
Day.
November
And
11th and it's Veterans
It's gonna come
Day.
out a couple days after. So first off, I want to make sure everybody knows that Veterans Day was started on November 11th, right after World War One, because the First World War ended on the 11th day of the 11th
11th
month
month
of the
at the
11th
11th.
hour of the 11th minute.
Exactly. Yep.
So it was 11, 11, 11.
Hence the term 11th hour actually originated from that, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at that point, the Central Powers, which was Austria-Hungary, Germany, I want to say Romania was in that, and there's maybe one other smaller power in there.
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, yes. No, wait, yeah, maybe.
No, I'm just
No, actually, you might be right.
It was a bit of a tease. I was kind of fucking with you.
I'm actually in a little bit of a World War One kick from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually gonna look that up probably later now. But they surrendered to the Entente powers, which would have been Great Britain, France, the United States.
The term itself very French.
Yeah, and a couple others. On November 11th, 11:11 a.m. The war ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the armistice.
And the armistice, Treaty of Versailles, whatever.
Yep.
I can get deep into history. Shit.
We don't need historical facts.
Fuck that shit. That's for another time. If people really want to,
anybody can just.
If
Google
people
it.
really want a history podcast, fucking make sure you comment. I'll give you one. I'll bring a couple people on. We'll get shit faced. We'll talk about history. It'll be cool.
We like to do this, so you're not bothering us.
Yeah. Anyway, the Salted Coffee community probably knows that I, Paul Z, have served in the Army. For a few years, more than a few years, probably more than I was required to. I've extended my contract and such, and I'm patriotic, and
I think everybody should continue to do the things that they're passionate about.
Continue the things they're passionate about.
Extend that contract.
Extend whatever you're believing in. And an important thing is, when I said patriotism, it is. With whatever's going on politically, whoever you believe in, I still firmly believe in my heart and my soul this is the greatest country in the world. And
I think most people that live here believe that.
And if
maybe we're drinking the Kool-Aid.
And it's fine.
Perhaps,
it's fine.
Perhaps.
You don't have to like who is elected. You don't have to.
Nobody does.
I'm
sorry. I'm one of those guys.
I'm not really allowed to say what I think.
You can say what you think. Nobody's.
No, I'm not. I'm not allowed to, dude. Trust me. Trust me on that. I'm not allowed to say what I think. All I'm going to say is I'm a libertarian. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a libertarian. So I believe in a little bit of what both parties say, and that's my whole political thing. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, and I'm very constitutional. I believe very firmly in the Constitution of the United States. So everybody has the right to free speech, to say what they want, the freedom to write and to keep and bear arms, to defend yourself against whatever, against the right against self-incrimination or against
basically
search and seizure,
any
whatever.
quote unquote inalienable right.
The first 10 amendments to the Constitution.
I would argue that we can go up into the early 20s amendments.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, probably. Anyway, Veterans Day is an important day. I've had friends who've died. It's a thing. Devon's gone to the bar with me, and a couple of other friends have gone to the bar with me.
Tonight
Specifically, before we came here, I have a tendency to buy a drink and write down names on a napkin and put
pour
it there.
some liquor out for the homie.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally the reference to that. And Devon kind of was like, "Well, you're wasting $7." And I thought to myself deeply, I'm like, "Well,
technically yes, but
no." I thought to myself, I actually had the shot. This is the first time believe it or not, this is the first time in years I've actually drank that shot or drinking that
Jameson?
beer. Yeah.
Oh, you mean of the shots you've ordered that are for those who have fallen?
I thought about it, and I might not always do it, but I think they might have at least laughed about it. So I did it.
From my
Shot.
perspective, now, if I was
We're some hard.
if I'm
Honestly,
at
as
war,
a soldier, we're some hard drinking motherfuckers. I was a cavalryman.
most people.
So
are.
I was a cavalryman. So basically, as a cavalryman, you go out and you find the enemy. You go out in small teams of 2 to 6 guys generally, and you go out and find the enemy. You monitor what they do. You monitor how they behave, their equipment. You report back their capabilities, the roadway ahead of you, to find out what the brigade advancing can do, and it ends up being kind of I'm not the most high speed soldier in the world. I wasn't the greatest soldier ever. I mean, I had my moments, but I was a pretty mediocre soldier. However, I believe
So
in the cause.
you're like the George Bush of soldiers. So you're like a C student.
You know what? I'm gonna give George W. some credit. At least he tried.
Okay. I mean, think about it. Like, how would you handle...
Compared to Al Gore...
You're reading
Al Gore
a children's story.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do? Come on.
No, he honestly, in that 9/11, the children's story thing, I think he did the right thing. He finished the story, then did his president shit. You gonna fucking leave in the middle of the story for these kids? You're the president. You can't do that. No matter what the fuck happens, you can't.
Now,
do that
it
shit.
kind of depends on, like, the salience of just the narrative of that story. Like, what is the moral that's trying to be taught to these kids?
Honestly, I'm gonna talk as a guy who had a shield on my chest and a gun on my belt. Sometimes it's better for people not to know the things that you know.
Okay. Yeah, something's better left unsaid is similar.
That's the real truth. I don't think. Here's my real thing about George W. And I'll go into George W. A little bit. I don't think George W. is a bad guy. I think that George W. is a little over his head. I think George W. as a dude, like as a person, I think he was a good person. I think he was well intentioned. I don't think he meant anything bad to happen that happened. But he might have been a little over his head, and he'd probably be the first person to tell you that. He still donates.
I don't think he can ever actually come out and say that.
No, he won't say that.
You can't.
But I mean, I'm saying, like, if you sat and talked to him, I mean, he donates a lot of his own personal money and time to wounded warriors in at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. He brings them to his own personal house twice a year and has a whole big formal ball for them and big dinners, and he pays for a lot of their medical treatments. Like if they have things that the Army won't pay for, the Navy won't pay for, he pays for it out of his own pocket. He's not a bad guy. I just think, like I said, I think he was over his head. He's another guy. He served in the Air National Guard. There's a lot of conflicting reports about him that he volunteered for a lot of overseas service. And keep in mind, at the time he would have been volunteering for that, his dad was the head of the CIA. So despite what he would have tried to been doing, despite what he would have tried to be going overseas and serving his country, if his dad was in such a high position, no matter what he tried to do, his dad probably wouldn't let him do it. Mm-hmm. That's the God's honest truth. I mean, if you love your son, no matter what it looks like, you're not going to let him go to war.
Right.
I wouldn't let my son go to war. I don't have a son, but I wouldn't let my son go to war. That's a horrible thing. It's something that it's hard to ask of anybody.
I have 2 sons, and they both sit on the couch.
They both go rant all the time.
Nothing.
They eat a bunch of dry food.
But obviously I can't speak to this because I don't have children, and if I did, I'm gonna switch gears for a moment. I'm gonna make an analogy that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I want to try to tie it. This is SCP style, where nothing we do makes any sense.
No, never.
I want to tie this to football.
Okay.
Now, I'm a huge football fan.
Of course.
I'm the biggest.
I know. You're literally the biggest football fan I know.
If I had children, would I allow them to play football? Yes. So the question then becomes about their safety, specifically the safety of concussions and how to prevent that. And I think that when you relate that to, and this is to be very clear, this is not an analogy that makes a lot of sense, but it's what I'm trying to do here is to make that connection. So I think that for up and coming football players, you have to be aware of what you're getting into and how that affects not only yourself and future generations, but even the generations prior to you that have allowed you to get to this point.
Exactly.
And I think that for veterans, there needs to be this consciousness that makes you aware of who you are in the time and place that you are in, and how that affects where you came from, and how that affects future generations of future soldiers, or potential future soldiers. Is that any of that making sense?
That does make sense.
It's a cross generational
honest.
thing that affects so much more than just this physical safety.
I'm going to be honest. When I joined the Army, we were in 2 wars.
Mm-hmm.
And
2 wars.
2 wars. No, really.
No. Do you remember
Iraq
that? Remember that Sunny skit that they did? We're in 2 wars, and they were doing their own podcast. Do you remember that? Anyway, continue. You don't remember it. It's fine. It's okay.
I kind of do. Now that
they were trying to make a podcast, and they had Ben the Soldier come on. You don't remember this?
Soldier.
Yeah.
He was a fucking pogue. Pogue meaning person other than grunt. Even in my going on 7 years in the Army, I came in a kind of a transitional period.
Mm-hmm.
Where I got part of the old Army and part of the new Army, and it's very different. While I probably am more capable of things of a higher rank than I hold, I hold a lower rank than I probably should at this point in my career, partially because of my own fault, my own shortcomings as a person. Other than that, it's more political stuff. Not political as in like a grander scheme, political as in the smaller aspect of who's friends with who.
So it's political.
Yeah, political.
Very much the same thing.
I get kids who are 17, 18, 19 years old, and they don't know the type of things about the world that I know. I mean, I'm fucking 30 years old. Like, I
we're all getting up there.
Yeah, I know things about the world that these kids don't know.
It's wisdom.
And it's fine. And part of me wants to impart them with some of this knowledge. Mm-hmm. With some older equipment they've never learned about. And
if it's not you giving it to them, it might be somebody else, or maybe that other person who might potentially be giving that knowledge to them.
But in a weird way, I can only say so much, and they have to learn some of their own.
Absolutely.
That's unfortunately the case. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could do it for them. Specifically, I'll be honest, specifically I was playing Army today, and
playing
I
Army.
refer to it as playing Army sometimes.
He does.
And at a kid, he's a kid. He's literally a kid. At least to me.
Like under 18?
No,
he's not a kid.
He's just north of 18.
Okay.
I can't do it for him, and like I want to, but I know that I can't. Even though I probably could, I don't want to do it for him. I can't. He has to learn on his own, and it's hard because knowing that my unit's going overseas in probably about a year. My going with them is still up in the air. I have I don't know how to feel about that because this kid doesn't know what the hell's going on half the time. Not because he's not capable of it, but it's because he doesn't know. It's okay, he doesn't know. He's not been.
He's a bit of a noob.
He hasn't been around for 7 fucking years, 8 years. Like
he's a neophyte.
Of course, he's not going to know. It's fine. He shouldn't be expected to.
He's green.
Yeah, very much so.
It's part of the learning experience.
No, it is. It's a hard thought process as somebody in the position I'm in, because you don't really know how to feel about it, because you know the kid's not bad, and you know the kid's not wanting to learn, not capable of learning. But it's hard to think of, and the military is a very complex part of society. I often like it to prison, because it's what's called a total institution.
Okay. TI.
Yeah, the total institution provides everything that you require for your daily life. So shelter, sustenance, and clothing, stuff like that.
Sustenance, like food and porn.
Well, yeah, most barracks
Mostly porn.
are gonna
food,
have
not necessary.
the internet.
Yeah.
Porn is extremely important.
I don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah, being somebody who served, veterans, current, past, and future, it's a very interesting role you play in society. And honestly, and this is a weird one, it gets uncomfortable when people thank you for your service, especially after you've been in for a while, because it ends up just being, while in the broad spectrum, I guess maybe it's a thing bigger than yourself, it ends up to you being a job. Right. I honestly, I couldn't rightfully tell you what my life without the military would be like. I don't know. I for most of my adult life, I've been in the military, and I don't know how to experience life without it, and I don't know.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm?
A couple times.
Couple times. Okay. So this past season, the new season, when they
watched
resurrected it, they're officially in season 9 now. There is an episode, I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, and this episode was called "Thank You for Your Service." And part of the conflict with this episode was that Larry David did not say, "I want to thank you for your service" to a veteran that he met.
Was the guy in uniform?
The guy at the moment was not in uniform, no. But all of the other people, like say Susie or Jeff Garland's character, the two of them are married in the show.
Okay.
They made it a point to thank this gentleman for his service to the country. Everyone was thanking this guy for his service, and Larry felt the need to kind of back off and say, well, it's a little disingenuous because I feel like I'm only doing it because everybody else is doing it. It's more of a social construct as opposed to this innate need to thank the person for the actual service they're doing. Which, for me personally, I feel like he should have said it. But I respect his point to feel like that the thanks was given, and the extra one human being to say so doesn't really change anything. It doesn't do anything extra for this guy who has been thanked multiple times in a row before reaching Larry in the chain of being thanked. So I'm curious to see, and I know I'm gathering you have not seen this episode before, and
no, but you're legitimately asking how I feel about it.
Yes, yeah.
That's where
just basing off of without having honestly seen the episode.
While I appreciate the sentiment behind it, and I really do, it can get very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today, for example, on my way home, I stopped a couple places. I stopped at one place because they make a really good coffee, and I wanted their coffee.
This is Rook Coffee.
Yeah, Rook. We'll review their coffee.
One day
they gave me free coffee, and
I can't say anything because I've got the punch card in my wallet too. So their
coffee's fantastic.
Nobody's judging me here.
Their coffee's amazing. I felt a little uncomfortable about it, but they gave me free coffee, and shit, I'm a cheap motherfucker, so free coffee's free coffee.
Yeah, I
didn't go in there looking for free coffee.
Right.
When I left, I was like, holy shit, they close at 5. I'm out of work at fucking 3:15. I can get some Rook. Awesome.
And it'll be free, so fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. No. The free thing wasn't. I didn't even think about that. I was like, well, it was free.
I need to get over there. You didn't. You just wanted their coffee.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like an alternate part of that was like, well, if it's free, neat. But if it's not, no, fuck it. I'll pay for it anyway. Mm-hmm. And like, I stopped and they gave me a free coffee. It's Veterans Day, whatever. I mean, like, okay, I kind of half expected that. I've gone in there before in uniform. Because I had gone to Seagard a couple times for things I had to do. And I had to pay for it. It's about 50-50 with paying for it, not paying for it. That's fine. I don't care. They gave me the free coffee. It's Veterans Day. I kind of figured that was going to happen, but even if it didn't, I wouldn't have cared about paying for it. Whatever. I made it, after they said it was on them, I was like, well, I don't even feel comfortable giving you my punch card because you gave it to me for free. And she's like, no, give it to me. And then she knocked off like 2 of them. I'm like, okay, I kind of feel embarrassed a little bit because I have a job, obviously.
Right.
I'm in uniform. I can afford to pay for
You don't want the sympathy or the pity.
That's really what the case is.
You don't want that card to be played.
Yeah, is it sympathy? Is it pity? Is it because somebody doesn't feel comfortable doing the service themselves? And I don't expect people to. I mean, well, I personally, this has nothing to do with my own. I mean, it's probably related to my own service, but while I personally think that there should be mandatory service, that has nothing to do with things I've learned in the service. It's just a personal opinion.
Controversial opinion.
Yeah, it's a personal opinion. I mean, I won't really get too deep into it. I think it's more because this whole... I mean, I'll call people snowflakes for a couple seconds here. I think that a lot of issues with racism and problems with people not understanding other people's cultures would be solved by people serving in the military, because you're forced to deal with people from cultures you've never dealt with before.
Yeah, it is requiring that
you're required
have varied perspectives.
You could be like, oh, well, this guy is a cisgender white male, blah blah blah.
Cisgender.
Yeah. Yeah, well, tough shit, Buttercup. Deal with it. He's the guy who's living in your fucking barracks room with you. And if you have a problem with it, well, I guess you can sleep in the fucking hallway.
Or more like you should learn the plight of this person or understand the point of view or how, like, where they're coming from.
That's my, well, as a libertarian, that's my problem with specifically people who are super on the far left of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like people who are Republican are usually a little more willing to listen to other people's arguments. Slightly, but that's not even talking about Democrats in general. I was talking about people who are on the super far left of the spectrum, mm-hmm. who are like insane and like
bleeding hearts.
Yeah, they're like kind of creepy to deal with.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them are pretty.
Can't speak for everybody.
Yeah, no, not everybody. I have a lot of friends who are on who are a little slightly on the left side, slightly on the right side. I myself consider myself kind of in the middle because I don't conform to either of them. But, I have some, liberal opinions, some conservative opinions. Mm-hmm. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Probably lead a little more to the conservative side on certain things and whatever. Unrelated.
And more liberal with other things.
Yeah, no, really.
It's more of being independent.
Like what's it called? Like pro-choice, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Gay rights, I believe in all of that. But...
Okay.
You want to take my guns? You're a fucking nut job. You ain't taking my shit. Unrelated.
The Bill of Rights exists for a reason.
But exactly.
Now, but before we continue, I'm going to take a quick break because I really have to pee.
Oh my god, me too.
So I'm going to let you go first, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you again for listening to SCP. Okay, everyone, we're back.
We had to done piss.
Yeah, and Paul went to the bathroom, and I actually just peed straight off my balcony. I'm just going to be very transparent about that.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Nobody cares. Nobody knows.
You know what?
If the person beneath me, the person underneath my apartment actually cares, whoops, sorry. And when I say I'm sorry, I don't actually feel bad at all. I'm sorry.
Feel bad that you
had to see my dick and, my urine.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So we are going to segue into our next and final topic.
We were getting a little too political. I could talk about Veterans Day and all that military shit for hours.
And to be perfectly clear, there's no such thing as being too political or caring too much about any cause. It's just that as we are rebooting the show, we're kind of trying to figure out how things are going to work from this point on, and this is part of how our next topic is going to roll.
Yeah.
So, and we've talked about this collectively and as a community for SCP, is like how we want to kind of move forward. We know that, for example, like Brian is not going to be on the show every week or even every other week. So we have every intention of moving forward as a 2-man show.
Yeah, well, me and Devon love Brian like a brother. We've
Absolutely.
known Brian for probably the
better part of 11, 12 years or so.
I know. I calculated. It's been about 13 years.
You calculated it. You whipped it out.
Well, I do.
Got
work, I do work
Texas
with,
Instruments.
I work with Justin on a daily basis. The ghost, because he does spooky things.
He has passed away. Rest in peace.
Of course. And I like to annoy him with how long we've been friends, because it makes him feel old. It makes me feel old too, but it makes me laugh how bad it makes him feel.
Here's an interesting perspective, is that how long you've been friends with somebody is not necessarily like a condemnation of the fact that you're getting old. It's more of a celebration of how many years you've had together and how many years you have to continue this.
No, of course.
That's very exciting
fantastic
to me. Like,
my dad has maybe 1 or 2 friends he's been friends with for most of his life. Mm-hmm. And he talks with them maybe a handful of times a year, and he's excited every time he talks to them. And it gives me hope and promise in this. I mean, the information age, I guess, we live in.
I think it's so rooted in wisdom, and like
it is.
How much you can learn from other people, and relate that to your own life.
Yes and no, because there's so much bullshit going on.
So much.
So, I guess your topic is how we're going to go from here.
Basically, yeah.
Basically, your topic is how we're going to go from here.
Basically, talking about the future of the Salted Coffee podcast.
Okay, so basically, from what I gather, and interject whenever you want. So, Salted Coffee listeners, Salted Coffee faithful.
The coffee grounds.
Coffee grounds.
You're out there, and we know it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, seriously, fucking say something to us. I mean, I know people listen to us just for the sake of listening, I guess.
Hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah, please.
You know, I listen to everything.
I will so make a fucking Twitter so you can fucking talk. You can say something.
Make a Twitter. You won't.
I might not.
I love having a Twitter, though. Yes, continue.
Basically, the idea is that regardless of how many people actually fucking listen, we're having fun with this.
Yes, that's the whole point.
And it really gives us we've been friends for so long, it gives us a good excuse to, one, exercise one of our most important human rights, the freedom of speech, to express ourselves. Big into that shit. Gonna move on from that because that's on a political spectrum, and I really don't want to get into that. I mean, I can, but I don't think that's fair. Okay, so the next one being the fact that we've all been friends for so long that it's nice to give us an excuse to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I had the opportunity to go see my significant other out in Queens. That being one of the 5 bros.
Look at you having a significant other.
And I chose instead to come hang out with this motherfucker and record this.
Now you don't want anything to do with me.
Have a bunch of drinks and then work on my car tomorrow, which is probably pretty important, actually. But I think we're going to try to keep going from here. And while Brian has slightly abandoned us, it hurts. It does a little bit because
he's not abandoned us. He just has other factors in his life.
Yeah, I know, and he's gonna be kind of
that interfere with how we record.
You know,
and how
it's not like
our schedule.
It's not like most fortunes in his life are a result of my interjection in his life or anything. You know, should I go into that?
Sure. We've got time.
Oh yeah, we have time. I introduced him to his wife.
You did, yeah. We talked about that last week too.
My ex-girlfriend, who I almost made a wife out of, but didn't happen, is what it is.
Life happens.
Yeah, she got him the interview that got him his current job. So whatever. It is what it is.
So he's indebted to you for life.
But he doesn't want to be on our podcast.
I feel like.
By the way, this shit was his idea. By the way,
he should pay up, and he should give you a nice, handsome blowjob.
I'm cool with the hand job.
Maybe a little extra salty. Maybe. He literally pours salt into his mouth before he does it.
That's fucked up.
So if you have any open sores, it'll kind of hurt but feel good at the same time. I mean, everybody wins.
Yo, so he has to know we're going to roast the shit out of him for not being on an episode.
This is the best part of what we have moving forward, is that we can...
It's why it's 22 and a half, because he agreed, it's 20 and a half.
He agreed to this.
To be on 21, and this is November 11th, and he's not here.
He's not here.
No, he's not. I didn't buy the beer because I figured he wouldn't be. So I was going to wait till he actually showed up to buy the alcohol.
We didn't have confirmation that he wasn't going to be here for episode 20.5
we got a
earlier today.
One-word answer. Thanks, Brian.
No. Which is an acceptable answer because it's very accurate. But at the same time...
we've been friends for almost fucking 20 years. You could say fucking, hey, sorry guys, I have shit to do.
Give me a fake excuse.
Come on, dude.
Like, hey man, I'm tired. I'm too busy having sex with my wife. Or something. You can find a reason.
I'm trying to make little Brian's with her. I mean, I'd be like, yo, bro, go ahead. Knock yourself out. Make some little Brian's.
See, I wouldn't be
you have to make one called Death Ball.
Because if they were trying to have babies... Okay. No, I can't condone that behavior because...
You're not into children.
Not only am I anti-children personally, which is super obvious, but the fact that they would be taking themselves out of my life, that's like a weird thing that... I'm 29 years old and I have yet to deal with the situation where one of my friends has gone off and gotten married and proceeded to have babies. If they went and did this, I would be super disappointed for super selfish reasons because I'm an asshole. Now, for people who want to have children, I am all about their pursuit of happiness. That I would never subscribe to or be part of ever in a million fucking years.
My whole constitutional thing I've been on. I thought of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes. Will Smith.
I was kind of going with...
It's like that movie where Will Smith fucks the fucking Statue of Liberty.
You know what? Will Smith can fuck anything he wants, honestly.
He could.
I'm all about it.
He could fuck Carlton. I'm sure he has too. And you know the funny thing about that is like probably not kidding you. It's probably fucked Carlton in the ass, and I don't know how I feel about that. Because Carlton was pretty cool. Yeah. To each his own.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
So the major point of what we wanted to get across today was how we intend to proceed with Salted Coffee Podcast and what it is that we're trying to achieve in the long term as opposed to like the short term too, because they're both very interesting times. We're in a kind of a transitional period.
Yeah. Brian's not completely not a part of this. And if Brian wants to come back,
he is absolutely a part of it.
Of course, if he wants to be in every episode, every day part of this, of course he can. He has all the passwords. He's always welcome. We're just busting his balls, honestly.
Of course. We've known each other for over a decade. This is what we do.
I'm closer to Brian than I'm closer to my actual brother. I love Brian to death. And
I love you too, Brian.
Yeah, we love you, Brian, honestly. And we wish you would be part of every episode. However, I don't know why I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, you've deemed it that your art's more important than your friends. That's fine, I guess. We still love you, and we'll always be there, and we'll support you. And if no one else is buying your art, we'll buy it because we care about you. So we will want to make you feel better. And that's not saying no one's going to buy it because people probably will because you're fantastic. You're a good artist.
I've bought. In honest to God truth, not just because he's my friend and I appreciate his artwork and I want to support him. I have actually bought multiple stickers off of him because I like the design. As
No, I like his
opposed
design.
To any,
I'm just a cheap fuck, so I don't buy them. And I harass him till he gives them to me for free.
and I actually do it in the way where like I'll buy multiple stickers and then give them away to people in the hopes that they'll like follow his Etsy, and nobody ever does. It's really disappointing.
Yeah, it really is, because he's honestly a very good.
He's
good at what he
very
does.
talented. There's no.
I hope he. And I feel bad because we're kind of drunk talking about this. I don't want to think we're.
I had like 4 beers, so.
Oh, I've had the beers. Yeah, okay, beers.
They were big beers.
You had triple beers. They were like at least 2 beers.
22 ounce beers, so it's beer and 3/4.
Beer and 3/4. So you've had like
beer and 5/6.
Beer and 5/6. All right. So we're gonna give you whatever. Fuck that noise. Let's keep going.
Fuck the noise. Okay, so
while I wish Brian was an everyday part of this, we have to move on from here.
Yes.
We are going to have a hockey episode with either Shane and Tim, or both.
Both.
Hopefully,
we're aiming for both because that would be fantastic.
Because we
need both.
Both are very big students of the game. Which is deep
histories of the game,
which is the
in the opposite directions of Rangers and Devils. That makes it more.
Or if Shane can, I could bring my friend John on. John's a big Rangers fan. He's another big student of the game. So it's the to quote unquote the coolest game on ice. We'll go with the thing from the '90s, which I thought was a great headline for it. The coolest game on ice. We'll talk about
Vanilla
hockey.
Ice.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Stop, collaborate, and listen.
Ice is back with a brand new invention.
Oh, that was addition. Whatever.
Is it addition?
It might be
invention.
One or the other.
I think you're right.
Close enough. Whatever.
Tweet at me.
Yeah, tweet at us.
Let me know if I'm right or not in the lyrics of the old school Vanilla Ice song.
Now, me and Devon have often thought about furthering a career in something on the stage like comedy or improv or something.
We both love comedy.
Yeah, I honestly feel like I can't do it sober. How I wish I
agree
could.
with that. I agree with you.
Maybe one day we could.
I am such a huge student of comedy.
But we plan on going. Maybe not very soon, but in the I would like to say near future.
Within the next couple of months, I think it's a goal for us to challenge ourselves to new experiences.
Do a
which equates to us going down to Seaside and doing a few minute sets of stand-up comedy.
Stand-up comedy, that's where we're going to go, and I'd like to after that go to maybe improv.
Improv is a bit too much for me.
I'm a big fan of the Impractical Jokers, and though obviously they're not listening, maybe we could.
It's very doubtful, but
maybe we could.
Might be.
Maybe we could tag them, and then we'll bring it up again another time when we haven't been drinking for most of the night, and see if maybe one of them would be willing to join us. That would be pretty cool. They're not particularly far away. They're all from Staten Island, so they're probably less than probably a half hour away.
Yeah, everybody's from New Jersey, so
yeah, pretty much everybody's from New Jersey.
That's part of why we love and respect them so much.
They're from right over the border,
hometown.
They're from Staten Island, and they record a lot of their stuff in New Jersey, and not even that, they're very talented. And the best part about them is they're just regular guys. Like
I've been very impressed by Joe's his innate ability to do puns in particular.
Yeah,
it's very impressive.
From what I understand about them, you got a guy who ran a children's store, a guy who was a financial planner, another guy who worked for a television network, and a fireman. They all grew up as friends, and they all kind of just screwed around with improv, and they kind of tried it out, and somebody picked them up because they were good, and they're just normal guys.
And that's all that matters.
It gives us hope to go further than just being two fucking schmucks from Tom's River talking on the goddamn internet.
Yeah, and part of like this whole willingness to go out there and do some stand-up comedy is not it's for me it's not totally inspired by the work that the guys do at that show. Totally blanking on it. Impractical Jokers. I can't believe I just like totally missed that.
No, it's okay. We've been drinking for quite a few
Yeah,
hours.
I just blanked out for a moment.
Yeah, for the record, everybody, we kind of decided to do this at the last minute.
We did, and
yeah.
and I've had 5 or 6 beers, and we did do a shot. And
Oh yeah,
I feel like we should
I did
do
multiple shots.
another shot of vodka before we end the show.
don't do that.
We'll do it after we end the show, most likely.
No, because if we're gonna do it, we have to do it on air. Jesus fucking Christ!
All the more reason for me to press
exactly.
you. But anyway, back to what I was saying. There's a guy that I've been following. His name is Nick Scarpino. He's trying to work on his stand-up routine. He works for Kind of Funny. He's a producer. He hosts the Kind of Funny morning show every day, 5 days a week. This is a guy that I listen to all the time. I very much appreciate his sense of humor and his willingness to put himself out there, even in the cases where he puts his name on the list and he doesn't get up, and he sits there for 2 hours and invites all of his friends out to come see him, and he doesn't actually perform. This is all the more reason that I want to put myself out there, and seeing people do these kind of things to push themselves and put themselves out there is very, very inspiring. It is one of the best things that I've taken out of the last couple of years of my life, particularly the last 6 to 8 months, is listening to Nick talk about how he has gone up on stage, whether it's at a local laundromat or wherever he's going.
A local laundromat.
He's doing his thing, and it was like a weird laundromat cross some other bullshit thing where it's an open mic basically. You can put yourself out there, and this is something I've thought about doing for years and years, and I make silly jokes on Twitter, I make silly jokes on Facebook, and I haven't had the confidence to put myself out there on stage. And that is something that I've needed to do for the past couple of years.
And we've agreed to both do it the same
We've made a kind of a, not a bet, but we've come to a mutual agreement that we need to put ourselves out there and do this. And for me, it is absolutely inspired by comedians that I adore, like Louis C.K., despite the whole drama situation. I'm sure everyone has heard about the situation by now with Louis C.K., but he is my favorite comedian of all time. And I know other comedians who are influenced by his style and his delivery. And I will, when I eventually get out there, put myself out there in a very similar way, and it's very exciting to even think about, because we're gonna prepare some sets. We have every intention of getting down and dirty and writing some skits.
I'll totally make Brian come. I'll handcuff him and bring him out.
See, the whole thing about a comedy is it's not like applying yourself in terms of like your best friends. It's reaching a wider audience, but still like remaining true to who you are and the kind of community that you want to have.
My
that
theory
niche.
is, I'm gonna make fun of myself.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
like look at Eminem. I mean, that's how he succeeds as a fucking battle rapper.
He makes fun of himself.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it, because you're taking the ammunition away from the opposition then. And I feel like that's the perfect way to introduce yourself and the audience to your brand of comedy. So, anyway, look out for that, because I'm very absolutely
we're
1,000% serious. And I have notes on my phone about all the different jokes that I've written, and I'm ready to get up there and do it, and we're gonna do it together. So I'm very excited about that.
That's the best way to do it, because if I think it was Ben Franklin, if we don't hang together, we'll surely hang separately. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
So we'll go for it. and I feel
United we stand, divided we fall. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Though not a technical quote from Benjamin Franklin, but same idea.
I'll the way I look at it is we'll do it a couple times. We'll both do it a couple times because the first time you're not going to get it.
The first time is going to be bad.
The first
It's
time
going to be very
horrible.
bad. I dread it. I dread it very much.
Fun of that.
But it's going to happen.
The fact it's my first time doing this. It's going to be fucking horrible. So I might as well shoot myself.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the wristband on like a backup quarterback, and I'm going to have all the plays written down on my forearm and my wrist, and I'm going to be ready to just whip that shit out and be ready.
You better call it like a fucking...
To look down and be like, okay, this is the trigger that I need to get this joke going because I am socially retarded, inept, and anxious that I need this in order to succeed.
I'll sit in the front. I'll sit in the front row so I can heckle you. So you can make fun of me right back.
And it'd be a bit of a gimmick because I would probably pre-plan what I want to say to fuck with you. But you know what? Who doesn't do that? Come on. If let's be honest. How many comedians out there have pre-planned hecklers? Quite a bit. And you have that retort ready to roll.
Of course.
So I won't do that because I don't.
Yeah.
That's not comedy to me. So
I'm not sure about you, but I think you should kind of.
Yes, we are just passing the 56-minute mark.
Which
as
is
a two-man show
than we thought we were going to go as a two-man show.
It's a two-man show now.
Brian over here. I know you're not.
In the case you haven't heard,
Brian's not here.
Salted Coffee Podcast is now primarily Paul Z.
Devon.
And me. I'm Devon.
Paul Z.
Let's do some hand gestures and random sounds. If you would like to learn more about Salted Coffee Podcast, you can follow us.
And if you live in the tri-state area,
on Twitter.
If you live in the tri-state area, you're more than welcome to be a guest. Please, for the love of God.
We are always open to new perspectives.
We have
having guests on the show. This is what we do, especially now because we're a two-man show. We're
going to put a cat on the show one of these days.
You know, he sounds like he's kidding, but he isn't.
No, I'm totally not kidding.
Because I have two cats who are very willing to be on the show.
And I have a cat that talks a lot too. So
he does. Yeah, Lucky is very he's vocal. He's a vocal kitty.
He really shuts the hell up.
So again, thank you everyone for listening to our show. We appreciate you more than you know. Thank you for being part of the Salted Coffee Grounds. Am I getting that correct? See, we're rolling it out there. Again, final plugs for the night. Our Facebook page, if you want to find us, you can find us at Salted Coffee Podcast. Very simple, right? If you want to find us on YouTube, you can watch the video format versions of our podcast. However, they are not video yet. They are not live recordings.
So give us about a month. We'll have one.
We are working on it. We have some ideas of how we want to proceed with that. So you'll know when we get there. But within the next 3 or 4 weeks at the minimum, we're going to start doing some more video content. And that's something that we've been pretty transparent about wanting to do in the future. So we're ready to start doing that. So again, thank you for your patience as we move forward. But we're also on Instagram at Salted Coffee Pod. If you want to email us directly, you can do so at saltedcoffeepodcast@gmail.com. If you want to talk to me directly as Devon McCann as opposed to as a member of Salted Coffee Podcast, you can do so at Hunkalicious Rex. If you want to reach out to Brian, who is not here today, you can do so at B. Koenig Designs. He's also on Twitter. His Rebel page, where he does his artwork and stickers and t-shirts and all sorts of fun stuff. You can find that on Etsy. Just type in the name Rebel Games or Rebel, or you can. He's available. It won't be too difficult.
That motherfucker's around.
He's there. Buy some shit off of him. He's very talented.
We're busting his balls a lot, but is this because
we do because he's one of our best friends and we've known him for over a decade.
And I hope he doesn't get all butthurt about it.
When I buy my next laptop, I have a sticker that he did that It's like half Diddy Kong, half like King Kong. It's a cool concept. I've been holding on to that sticker for like the specific moment that I buy a new laptop. So I've been holding on to that for a while, and he knows that. But I'm gonna buy more stickers. Let's be honest, I'm gonna buy more stickers from him before I do that.
And actually, I'd like to get on here too.
Yes.
Probably want to answer to us when we do our hockey episode.
We have every intention of doing a hockey
I don't
Devils
know how you feel about
episode.
this because I'm probably just dropping this to you, Kyle Palmieri, since you are actually from New Jersey.
Yes.
We will totally drive to wherever you live in New Jersey to record this.
We're throwing it out there. We know
we'll maybe tag you on Instagram.
We can or Twitter
and see if you answer us, because we'd really love it if you came on. We'll keep doing it until you answer us.
Kyle, we might harass you a little bit.
We might harass you a little bit, but we really, really like your play, and we think you're a fantastic player, and the fact that you're from Jersey,
it doesn't.
Unfortunately, you're the target of this, then.
You're a Jersey guy. You're fighting for a good cause. I mean,
and Johnny Gaudreau, James Van
nobody cares.
Jimmy Van Riem's like, I played against you in high school, so that would be nice if you came on here too. But I get it, whatever. But Kyle, specifically, we'd really like it if you were to at least answer us. It'd be pretty neat.
We may reach out to you.
Yeah, we might reach out to you a little bit. If you don't get it, we get it because you're.
By the way, nice goal tonight.
Yeah, seriously, dude. That was awesome.
That was great.
Was it a slap shot from the point?
And it was the game.
Game winner.
It
awesome.
Ended up being the game winner.
Yeah,
so
dude,
we're
like big fans.
Very proud of you tonight. Yeah, you really nailed it.
The entire Garden State really loves you. So
everybody's watching.
Yeah, that must make you feel great. We'd love it if you came and if you just answered us and weren't able to come on. If you were just to answer us and tweet back, that'd be pretty neat.
Maybe have a beer with us. We'll introduce you to some new shit.
Yeah, like we're just fucking working class schmoes from Tom's River, so it'd be pretty neat.
So I think that's
about it. I'm sorry,
it does
in there. Devin didn't even know I was going to say that, so
we had to throw it in because we have absolutely every intention of throwing in more Devils content for you guys. We're such huge fans, and given our proximity to and how big of fans we are and have been for life.
Yeah,
we have every intention of.
Even if they're doing horrible, we'd still be saying the same thing.
And we're gonna have Shane on, and he's gonna talk some Rangers shit, and we're gonna respect him. We're gonna respect him, and we're gonna listen to him. We're gonna disagree with him, and we're probably gonna fight him afterwards.
We might agree with him on a couple things here and there, but
probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe
I'm trying to be nice.
Maybe, but at least we know that it's 2-on-1, and we can take him.
Oh no, it'd be 3-on-1.
That's all that. It'd be 3-on-1. It'd be 3-on-1 if we have Tim come on.
I'll legit text him later. About 10 minutes. I'll text him.
Yeah, I would love to have Tim on. I haven't seen him in years. I am looking forward to his perspective on Devils hockey.
Oh,
so anyway, thank you everyone, all the Salted Coffee Grounds, for listening this week to Salted Coffee Podcast. Again,
please give us a good like.
One last little. We've put ourselves out there. You know where to find us. We're on Facebook. We're on Gmail at saltedcoffeepodcast@gmail.com. If you want to find us on Instagram, you can do so at saltedcoffeepod. Same exact handle for Twitter. If you want to follow me directly, you can do so at UncleLicious Paul does not have a Twitter yet, which is fucking blasphemy. And I have every intention of forcing him to get in on this shit, because Twitter is the future. And for Brian, you can follow him at BKoenig Designs. He's on Twitter. Buy some stickers. Buy some t-shirts. He's got some cool shit.
We love him to death, so he'll always get plugged, even though we're busting his balls.
Even if you don't buy any fucking of his shit. Just tweet at him and be like, bro, you suck. Get back on the show. And before you know it, everything's hunky-dory, and he's back as the podcast panelist number 3. Again, thank you everyone for listening. I'm your host, Devon McCann, joined, as always, by my fellow podcast panelist, Paul Z. Take care, everyone. And goodbye, Internet. Have some beer. Enjoy life.
See you later.
Bye.